Colorado Rockies are in the World Series in the year 2029 using nothing but the amateur drafts. And, well, we technically have used a couple of trades here as well as the Rule 5 draft, but honestly, the trades haven't even been that much of a help if you think about it. Only one of the players we've traded for is even on the roster, and he certainly isn't carrying us by any means. But nevertheless, after tearing down the entire 40-man roster in the 2024 offseason, we've got ourselves all the way up to the top. We just won the NL against a very difficult Atlanta Braves team, and now we're a series win against the Yankees from being on top of the entire MLB. And before we hop into game one here of the series, I do want to take a moment and look at the statistics. What has got us to this point? Typically, this is something that, we do at the end of every episode, or at least every other episode during the regular season. But since we've been playing all the games, I haven't been doing it as much. But now that we've made it to the World Series, I want to talk about just how we got here. Let's start with the pitching here. In terms of innings pitched, Chase Dollander has pitched the most for us in this playoff run, and he's had two really good starts. One not so great start, but overall, we're seeing a 4.41 ERA and a 1.04 whip here. Excellent whip. He's just been allowing home runs. If we can go to, where is it? Home runs allowed here. It's been a while since I've looked at stats on this page. Home runs allowed is 6, which is double anybody else. That's been his one problem. But other than that, he has been excellent for us here in this playoff run. Neil Dorsey, in his 2 starts, has gone 11 innings, 4.91 ERA, 1.18 whip. I think he's looked really solid. For the most part, again, just maybe a couple of errors, a couple of rough innings that have gotten him a higher ERA, but with a 1.18 whip is certainly solid. We've also faced off against some really good offenses in the Cardinals and the Braves here in this postseason run. Devin Smeltzer, as you can see here, hasn't allowed a walk this entire postseason yet, which is pretty awesome. He's got a 3.6 ERA and a 1.00 whip. Continues to outplay his overall as he has all series long ever since we selected him in the Rule 5 draft. Jose Barreto really has struggled. 9.64 ERA and a 1.71 whip in his 2 starts. He's gone 9 1/3 innings. Now, good strikeout rate, has more strikeouts than inning pitch, as does Dorsey and Dollander, but just not quite having the postseason that we were hoping from him. Still has a lot of room to grow, still just 21 years old, so it's not, I think, a detriment to his future by any means, just not quite the postseason you would want. Herb Reyes, our pitching staff, has gone to him very, very often in this postseason, and I don't know why. He has been the second highest ERA allowed and the second highest whip as well, only behind Jimmy Blanco, who is doing it on just 1 1/3 inning. So there's, no guarantee that it would be this bad if it continued. He'll probably get another shot at some point here in the World Series, I would guess, but certainly not going to be somebody that we go to heavily. But Herb Reyes, just because he's a lefty and he has high stamina, our pitching, our manager is deciding to go with him a lot. Hasn't exactly worked out. Jeff Ramirez, very much so, one up and down. A 1.77 whip is not good, but his last 2 appearances have been good. He's pitched 2 straight innings without allowing a run. Hopefully that can continue. Santillan here, 4 for 6 in terms of saves here in the postseason. And he's been solid, but not necessarily kind of that upper tier closer that you'd want. Rich Walsh, ERA looks okay, but the whip looks okay, but the ERA looks not very good at all for him. But he had a rough start to the postseason. He's really settled in since his last 2 appearances. The last 2 innings have been really good. Lozano in 3 2/3 inning pitch, no ERA, no whip. This guy needs to be featured more in the World Series. He has been pitching on an absolute tear, as has Phil Gorzelski. You want to feature these two early on in this World Series because they've been our best pitchers, and the guys who are pitching the best should get the first chances out of the bullpen. Andrew Moore, really bad game in which he threw 30 pitches, way above his stamina, but other than that, it hasn't been terrible, honestly, in this postseason. And then Michael Kopech has been the only pitcher who has not gotten any run as we've switched to a 4-man rotation here in the postseason. Overall, yes, the pitching has had struggles. I mean, if you consider like 1-3 a good whip benchmark, we only have 4 players of our entire pitching staff under that spot. Actually, never mind, we have Lozano and Gorzelski who are at 0, so about half the pitchers are below that, just under that. But especially late, that last episode, games 5 and 6, the bullpen really stepped it up and played much better than they had the rest of the postseason. Hopefully that can continue for us in the World Series. Now, let's go to the position players because the offense has been absolutely elite this entire postseason. Ryan Doe and Clemente Herrera tie for the lead in terms of runs. Hits, Clemente Herrera has 5 more than anybody else on the team. Been a very consistent on-base player for us throughout this entire postseason. Home runs, Neil Dorsey leads us at 6. Brian Doe, a late starter, added to the team, second with 5. Rafael Murillo at 4. And then we got a bunch of players at 3 and 2. Nobody has less than 2 home runs in our 9-man starting lineup in this postseason. We're getting power all throughout the lineup. RBI, Neil Dorsey leads us by quite a bit here. A 4 RBI lead, absolutely proving in this postseason why he is the MVP of baseball. And then we have a 3-way tie with Herrera, Figueroa, and Doe at 8. Figueroa at 8 might seem a little bit of a surprise there. He probably has one of the lower, if not the lowest average, but he's come through in big moments for us. Brown, Veen, and Thompson at 7, Murillo at 6, and Ethan Salas at the bottom at 5. You'd want Murillo to be a little bit more towards the top, I would say, but he's still been very productive here. In terms of average, Clemente Herrera hitting .450 for us. Doe at 387. Doe being the second highest contact player for us in the postseason is certainly a surprise. Neil Dorsey at 342. Ethan Salas at 333. Rafael Murillo at 325. All these players, half of our lineup, hitting 325 or higher is absolute insanity. Zach Veen at 297. Kyle Brown at 289. Sterling Thompson at 265. And the lowest average we have in the lineup is Omar Figueroa with 257. You go to OPS, Brian Doe leads us with a 1360 OPS. Not only is he providing the high contact like Clemente Herrera, but he's also second on the team in home runs. He has been an incredible breakout player for us in the postseason, proving that we were maybe a little bit too patient bringing him up. Maybe should have had him up playing in the major league a little bit sooner because he's gotten his chance and he's absolutely run with it. Clemente Herrera, 1288. Neil Dorsey, 1201. And then there's a pretty big drop off after that. So these 3 players you have to say are probably our postseason MVPs so far. It's probably between these 3 players as we head into the World Series. Neil Dorsey, the fact that he pitches probably helps his cause. I honestly think Doe and Herrera are both very worthy of postseason MVP consideration for this team. Zach Veen, awesome moments in this postseason run. Of course, had the walk-off in the bottom of the 9th in game 3. Murillo at 950, Salas at 900, and we only have 3 players with an OPS below 900 and nobody with an OPS below 800 in our offense. It's been an absolute showcase here. In terms of drawing walks, Brian Doe has been the best of that by a wide margin, which is pretty interesting considering his discipline is at 59. In terms of striking out, Zach Veen has been the worst there, but not a very big gap. A lot of people are in the 8, 9, and 10 range here. Doubles, I mean, Clemente Herrera's been a double machine here. Hasn't quite had as many home runs as some of the other players in our lineup, but he's getting on base pretty much, he's half the time he's getting on base, which is pretty amazing. No triples for us here. Grounding into the double play has been probably one of our biggest weaknesses of the postseason offensively. If, we're nitpicking here, Salas has been the worst there, but Vina, Herrera, and Dorcia have also grounded into multiple double plays. Murillo and Figueroa have done it once. Thompson and Brown, though, and Doe have yet to do it for us, which is nice. And let's just go by WAR here. Brian Doe leads us in WAR. That's very nice. And this offense has been truly, truly elite and will need to continue to be so against the Yankees. Let's take a quick look. I know I did this at the end of last episode, but just take a look at what is going down. What brought New York to the World Series to face off against us? Shane Bieber, 3.41 ERA, 1.17 WHIP in this postseason. Been very good for them. Radish been even better with a 2.92 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP. Tristan McKenzie been solid so far in his 18 innings pitched. Chase Hampton very good in his 6 innings, 1.5 ERA and a 1.0 WHIP. I think they'll take that for sure. Very good 4-man rotation here. We'll see if they bring in a 5th starter. Sometimes when there's a big drop off between number 4 and 5, the CPU will go to a 4-man rotation. I've seen that by the CPU before. But it looks like they are at least, they've been playing Luis Gil. Hard to see if he's been starting, because if you go to the stats, it'll show his regular season stats instead. But Marcos Dominguez has also been used, hasn't been quite as good. But this 4-man rotation, we're going to be facing some good pitching here. Into the bullpen, you have Ian Hamilton with a 0.56 WHIP in his 5 1/3 innings. That's really good. Brusdar Gratterall has been really good for them as well. Very small sample size there. And then you have Jose Alvarado, who in 7 innings has yet to allow a single run here in the postseason and has allowed less than a 1 WHIP. Yeah, this guy's an awesome closer. We've had a lot of really good late game pushes by the Rockies in this postseason run. Gonna be tougher to do that against this Yankees team. Switching over to their offense, Austin Wells in 41 at-bats has hit a homer, 8 RBIs, 244 average. I mean, that would be the worst on this team. He's better at hitting righties than lefties, which, we're going to be pitching him with mostly righties. Marco Vientos here, playing first base. Not a great postseason for him, I'd say. Michael Massey, solid here. Looks like Yorbit Vivas is also getting a lot of postseason action with his 40 at-bats. David Fry, no home runs, 222 average. So this offense is not nearly playing at the caliber of the offenses that we have seen so far in this postseason, just across the board. O'Neal Cruz, no home runs, despite the 99 power versus righties. I can pretty much guarantee he's hitting at least a couple home runs probably in this World Series. We have nobody playing in this spot for them. Aaron Judge, now, of course, he's going to be having himself quite the postseason, carrying this offense from what we've seen so far with 3 home runs and a 4.47 average, which is absolutely insane. Spencer Jones also having himself quite the postseason, definitely hitting above his ratings here with a 3.94 average in this postseason run. But that's the offense. That's the team that we'll be facing off against in the World Series. Definitely, I think, a team that has got here more off their pitching than their offense. And with the way the Rockies offense is playing, I don't know if there's any pitching staff that can keep us down for long, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to play these games. So let's get into Game 1 of the 2029 World Series. We're on the road for Game 1 here. Going against the AL champ, New York Yankees. I can't believe this team made it to the World Series this soon. Thought for sure it would be the 2030s when we first reached the championship, but we've drafted really well, and now we get a chance to play for the championship with our young players exceeding expectations in the 2029 postseason. I'm excited to get things going here in Yankee Stadium. World Series Game 1. Rockies at Yankees coming at you. Right here. Full house, as you'd expect here for this Game 1. Taking a look at the stats, you can definitely see different paths taken to get to the World Series here. The Rockies have been carried by our offense like we saw in the preview, while the Yankees offense hasn't been great, but their pitching has excelled. Will it be pitching or will it be power that prevails in Game 1? Here, let's tune in and find out. Shane Bieber will be the pitcher on the mound for the Yankees. They're going with their ace here in Game 1. Trying to kick things off with a win. Let's take a look here at his postseason in 5 games. 3.41 ERA, 1.17 WHIP. Also a 2-time Cy Young winner. Won it the year before this current year in 2028. So we know he's a high-level pitcher. Not going to be easy to have a good offensive day against him. Kyle Brown starts us off with a grounder to third. Monte Herrera up next. He gets himself a walk. Started this at bat 0-2, fought all the way back to get himself the first base. Really good battle between Bieber and Herrera early on in this one. Murillo, 1-2 pitch. Outside, but it's hit deep to right field. Jones giving chase, leaping, but he's not going to get it. It's a 2-run blast to start the World Series for Rafael Murillo. 347 feet. This outfield in Yankee Stadium certainly isn't the biggest outfield in all of baseball, that's for certain. So, can we see some high home run games here? That's been a theme throughout this postseason. And we don't take long to start the home runs. Zach Veen up, and it's going to be a double play on the liner to first base. Forgot to show the Neil Dorsey single. That's my bad. But an unfortunate double play will end off the first inning. Jose Barreto will be the pitcher for us here. Not going to go ace versus ace. Chase Dollander did not have full energy. And I want to wait to pitch Neil Dorsey until we have a day off after his pitch, because we want to make sure his energy isn't super bad for that next game. So it's going to be Jose Barreto on the mound for us today, and he starts with back-to-back strikeouts. O'Neal Cruz, major power threat despite not having shown it here in the playoffs yet, but Jose Barreto with about as good of a start as you can ask for. First 3 up for the Yankees, all going down, swinging, striking out the side. Can't imagine a better start for Barreto. Starlin Thompson will lead off the top of the second for the Rockies. Liner straight over to Jones for the first out of the inning. Brian Doe looks at the knuckle curve. Stayed in the zone there, so nothing doing for the offense in inning 2. Barreto pitching to Wells here. That's a fly out to center field. Brian Doe able to haul it in. 5 up, 5 down at this point in the game. And then Michael Massey to right back to him, and the Yankees hitless through 2. Jose Barreto off to about as good of a start as you can ask for. Omar Figueroa, his first at-bat hit well over to left field, but it is gloved by Jason Dominguez. Clemente Herrera, this one deep to left field. It is caught on the warning track. Couple of nicely hit fly balls there. Marco Vientos gets things going for the Yankees. The first pitch of the third inning. Yankees offense unable to do anything through the first 2 innings, but the Yankee first baseman gets the scoring started for the home team here in game 1. This one 408 feet. Some serious power on that home run ball. Jose Barreto, last time out, he had a very good start through 2 innings as well, and then things started to fall apart after that. Not saying this is the case here, but we've seen Jose Barreto be unable to keep a strong start going, and now it's 2 pitches, 2 home runs. Wow. The Yankees, just like that, have tied this game up. Barreto looked unstoppable to start this game, but on just 2 pitches, we're all tied back up at 2 apiece. This is against the bottom of the order as well. Not what you want to see from Jose here in the third. Dominguez, another pitch right over the middle. Barreto, all of a sudden, just has lost all control and confidence. This is just like last game. Started great, and then out of nowhere, the confidence is just gone, and he can't control anything. Another one right over the middle there on a full count to Vivas. What's happening with Jose Barreto here? I just don't get it. 0-0 pitch for O'Neal Cruz. Gets through the infield. Runner will hold at second. That'll make it 2 on, 2 outs for Aaron Judge. Been the Yankees' best offensive player here in the postseason. We know just how dangerous of a hitter he is despite his advanced age at this point in the series. He could give the Yankees a lead here. Need Barreto to get this third out. Let's pick that momentum back up that we had to start this game. 1-1 pitch is high. Aaron Judge showing some nice discipline. .48 pitches into the day for Jose Barreto, and the curve gets Judge swinging to even up the count. Pitch 50 upcoming. And it is fouled off by Aaron Judge. All of a sudden, from excellent start to questionable in the matter of just this inning here, Aaron Judge refuses to go down easily. 22 pitches in this inning. Hasn't been terrible at throwing strikes. It's just that these strikes are catching a little bit too much of the plate now. Out of nowhere. This is a guy who struck out the side to start this game. All of a sudden, having trouble locating. Now, in this at-bat, he has had a lot of stuff on the edge, and ultimately does retire Aaron Judge. A big out for Barreto. Murillo back up. He's brought in the only Rocky runs in this game. He's going to go down swinging on a pretty nasty cutter here. Let's see it again. That 5-inch break puts it just outside the zone, and Neil Dorsey down swinging after him. Back-to-back strikeouts against the hearts and soul of this Rockies team, Murillo and Dorsey. Zach Veen up next. He pops it up. Deep to left field. It is caught just shy of a home run. Come on, man. How many of these are we going to get in this game? Massey. He hits one deep to right center field. Herrera underneath it makes it 2 gone here in the 4th. So far, a much better inning for Barreto. 0-1 here to Marco Vientos. Also popped up. Doe waits for it and snags it. So a 1-2-3 inning. Exactly the kind of bounce back inning we needed from Jose here. And for the first time since the first inning, the Rockies finally have someone on base. It's the 5th. But Brian Doe right after him grounds into a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning, man. The first sign of life the offense has had since the first inning, and we immediately ground into a double play after it. You've got to be kidding. It'll remain 2-2 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Dominguez with a bloop single. Now trying to get in scoring position here, and just not a great throw from Salas. So Dominguez puts a man in scoring position. Vivas looking to drive him in. Gets one right back up the middle. Brian Doe hauls it in, but the Yankees now lead. After 2 innings, I thought the Rockies had all the momentum, but our offense has completely shut down, and now O'Neal Cruz gets his first home run of the postseason, giving the Yankees a 3-run lead. You knew it was just a matter of time here in the World Series before he got his first postseason home run. He was overdue. A very big-time power threat. And that's just the way the postseason has gone for the Rockies. There's going to be home runs. Aaron Judge after him. Speaking of home runs, not going to get his first yet of the postseason. O'Neal Cruz, though, giving the Yankees a big-time lead. Figueroa down swinging here to lead off the 6th. The 4th strikeout of the day for Bieber. A little bit of a shaky first inning, but has been excellent since. This one nearly hit for a homer, just 2 feet outside the pole. A run the Rockies desperately need, and instead it's another scoreless and hitless inning for that matter. Nobody showing up on the offensive side for the Rockies. In the 6th, we go to Herb Reyes. Of course we do. Why not use our long reliever, perhaps? I don't know what this staff's obsession is with using Reyes every single game. I get that he's our only lefty, but we don't need to use him every single game. Especially when he's been one of our worst pitchers in the entire bullpen. Here, though, not a bad 6th. Able to keep the Yankees off the scoreboard. Will the offense finally show up? Not even a hit since the first inning. Murillo, the only Rocky to drive in any runs in this game, unable to get his 2nd hit. Bean hitless. This one deep to right field. Jones can't make the play, and the Rockies have their first hit in 6 innings. That's right, their first hit in 6 innings. This is the team that has every single player hitting above an 800 OPS this postseason. Yet that's just the 3rd hit for the ball club, and Sterling Thompson makes it a waste. Bottom 7 now. Herb Reyes back out on the mound. Jason Dominguez lays down a bunt. Gets there safely because he is an absolute coward. David Fry after him. One left right over the middle. Down for a base hit. Runner advances to 3rd. Men on the corners, nobody out for Yorbeat Vivas. Inside pitch is down for a single that will get 6 runs on the board for New York. Still no outs here in the 7th. Herb Reyes having another one of these terrible innings where he just can't seem to get anybody out, man. And now the bases are juiced. Still no outs in the inning. Aaron Judge. That's going to walk home a run. I honestly probably don't even hate that call. That could easily have been a grand slam. Instead, Herb Reyes pitches around him a bit, and he's out of the game. Finally. I mean, how many straight Yankees had to reach in the inning? Lozano. That's a liner to Zach Veen. It is going to score the 8th Yankees run. Is there anything that this offense has done that makes you confident we're going to come up with 6 runs in 2 innings? 2 outs for Lozano. Starting to show some stability there on the mound. Thompson gets the force out to second, and finally the 7th is over, but things looking grim for this Colorado offense. Just 3 hits today. Now somehow need to come up with 6 runs in 2 innings. Salas starts us off with a walk. Brian Doe deep to right field, and it's hauled it. The Yankees play 3 center fielders pretty much in the outfield. Combine that with this small outfield, and you're not going to get a lot of base hits there, especially in the corners. But Omar Figueroa there, a little bit of the dance moves after the single. Kyle Brown, haven't heard his name called for anything good today, and that will continue to be the case. This whole 3 center field outfield is starting to get old real soon. A lot of speed. Ironically, their slowest player is their actual center fielder in Aaron Judge. Clemente Herrera. 2 outs. He's been given the nickname Clutch for what he's done in this postseason. We need it now more than ever. We come out of the 8th and we don't score any runs. I don't think we can win this game. That's too much to ask for in a single inning. He was just 2 feet from homering last time out. Can we make those up right here? Fouls off that fastball for the 2nd strike of the AB. He's 0 for 2 today, has drawn a walk. This one will go foul as well. Bieber now over 100 pitches. He has been annihilating our offense ever since that Murillo home run. It's been embarrassing. We've seen some good pitching occasionally in the postseason, but nobody's gotten a hold of us just like Shane Bieber has in this game. Continues his dominance. The Rockies get nothing in the 8th. 4 hits in the game, 2 runs. Jeff Ramirez comes out for the 8th. Allows the leadoff single to Spencer Jones. Dominguez has 2 hits today. That's going to be off the glove of Kyle Brown, and he beats the throw. Make it 3 hits for Dominguez, and the bottom of the order. Both reach for David Fry. That one stays fair, and it's an 11-2 Yankees lead. And that's just not something we're coming back from. Thoroughly outplayed on both fronts in game 1. I haven't seen anybody do to our Rockies team what the Yankees did today. Shane Bieber was nearly unhittable. That early home run he allowed did not shake him in the slightest. And the Yankees are winning Game 1 of the World Series. To make matters worse, that wouldn't even be the last they scored in the 8th inning. The Yankees would tack on 4 more runs in the 8th inning. I just couldn't watch anymore. I actually watched them put up the 4 extra runs. I didn't want to torture you by showing them to you as well. So many pitchers came out. Nobody could do anything. I don't know who to be more disappointed in, our offense or our pitching today. The Yankees weren't even averaging 4 runs a game heading into this series. We allowed 15. I think that's got to be more disappointing because at least we were facing off and against an elite pitcher. We were not facing an elite offense, and we had probably our worst pitching day yet. Just a pitiful performance for Game 1 of the World Series. And after this game, I am not allowing Herb Reyes to pitch another inning for us. I know he's the only lefty in the bullpen, but they use him every time, and he's been just purely atrocious. I don't know why we're so hell-bent on using Herb Reyes every chance we get. He has a 14 ERA and nearly a 3 whip. Why is he getting subbed in every freaking game? This. So he's getting put in the Kopech spot because that's the only spot that has been proven that the CPU won't use. Kopech's going to get a chance to pitch, perhaps, in this postseason. Coming out of the bullpen, I suppose. But I cannot believe how poorly every single person who played in this game played, except for Rafael Murillo, I guess. Everyone else had an awful game. Not one other person, not one other reliever that came in did well. Not one other anybody played well in this game. We look like a team that didn't belong in Game 1 of the World Series. We have to tighten up before Game 2, or else I don't know if we've got a shot at all in this series. That was insane. Insane how poorly we just played in Game 1. 15-2. It's wild, man. Game 2 will be coming up soon, and I'll see you then.